So let's move on to the next question, guys. In this question, we are given there are three semicircles. One is the bigger semicircle, and there are two small semicircles, and there is one circle whose radius is given to be r, right? We know the diameter of this semicircle is 12, the bigger semicircle, right? And because this is the center, so this part becomes 6 and this part becomes 6, right? Again, x is the center of this semicircle, so this part becomes 3, this part becomes 3, this part becomes 3, this part becomes 3. So 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4 is 12. I hope pretty simple, right? Okay. So now tell me one thing. We also know that we have to, okay, we need to compare r and 3, right? So if you think like that, you have to compare r and 3, it kind of gets confusing that how will you do it, right? But if you just, again, not a lot of calculations allowed, you're not required to calculate a lot in the exam because you don't have so much time, so it's more of logical thinking, right? So if you see over here, this semicircle diameter is 12, so its radius is how much? 6. 3 plus 3, 6. Like half of 12 is 6, right? That means that from this point to this point, this is the radius. Basically, if you complete this becomes a circle, right? So if this is the center, then if you take a line from here up till here, this will be the radius of this circle, which will be equal to how much? 6, right? Okay. This means that from here to here, what is this? This is 6. Starting from this point to this point, this is how much? 6, right? Perfect. Now tell me one more thing. This is the smaller semicircle. If you kind of complete this is a circle. If you complete this is a circle, right? And how much is the radius of this circle? The radius of this circle is this, right? Which is 3, right? So for example, if this is one possible point, so this line is how much? 3, because this is the radius, right? Similarly, if you see this, how much will be this? This is radius, so this will also be 3, right? Okay. Now tell me one thing, right? This is r, right? So obviously this will be how much? This will also be r, again radius, right? So this will be how much? 2r. This entire thing will be 2r, right? This will be what? 2r. This entire thing, right? Okay. Now tell me one thing. This is 3, right? And this is 6, right? So obviously this part, if this is 3 and if this entire thing is 6, right? So this part should be less than 3, right? This part should be less than 3. I hope I'm making sense. Why? Because for example, if you see this is 3, right? So obviously this will also be 3, this part. If this is 3, then this will also be 3, right? From here up till here. If this is 3, right, then this remaining part should be 3 because the entire part is 6. So from here to here, this should be how much? 3, because 3 and 3, 6. But we know this is how much? R plus some value, right? R plus some value is equals to 3, which means that R is less than 3, which means R is less than 3 or 3 is greater than R, whatever you want to call it. So that is why your answer becomes B. I hope this is pretty clear. You don't have to pick up your pen actually in this question. You just have to visualize and think properly, use some logic, because this is 6, right? Because the entire diameter was 12. So obviously the radius is 6. The radius is 6 means this part is 6, right? Now, if this part is 3, this height, so obviously this height will also be 3. I mean, any of this height will be 3, right? And we also know that this is r and this is r. So basically, r plus some value, right, will be equal to 3. Because if this entire part is 6 and if this is 3, then this will be 3, right? And what is this? This is r plus some small quantity, right? So basically, you can think it as r plus, let's say, x. R plus some x is equals to 3, right? What does this mean? This means obviously 3 is greater, because if you are adding something to r and then you get 3, that means, for example, r is 2.7 plus 0.3, or r is 2.6 plus 0.4, or r is 2.9 plus 0.1, whatever r is, but you are adding something to r and then you get 3, that means obviously 3 is greater, r is smaller, right? So basically 3 is greater than r, so that is why the answer becomes B. So this is a little bit of visualization, but I think once you do it yourself and think and see it properly, you should be able to get this correctly. I hope this should be clear.